What up? We back. Sorry we missed you Saturday. My father was busy becoming a husband again. Shout out Pops. And like the Green Bay Packers, I hope them a bright future and successful one.
Absolutely.
Uh, Before we get into it, real quick, I'm always bad at doing this. There we are. Can't forget our sponsors here. Get over to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code GETRIGHT for a 50% match on your first $1,000. That's promo code GETRIGHT, 50% deposit match on your first $1,000. Also go over to Trophies Mac. Promo code GETRIGHT. Go get yourself something to show about. Oh, that reminds me, Jack. Do we got that trophy?
Oh, brother.
Let's see it. The
Brother.
reveal.
Brother. Look at this guy. I got my background blurred, so it's hard to see, but
There it is. No, we see it pretty
we got
good. There we go.
we got my name. It's very, very, very tough to see right there, but
There it is.
Jack Turquati, the
Jack
2024
Turquati.
Womp Rats, baby.
Well,
So
Jack, congratulations, man. It looks good in your hand.
I
And all you
appreciate it.
guys could be just like Jack if you go over to Trophy Smack and use promo code GETRIGHT.
And if you keep listening to the podcast and listen to our helpful tips and tricks, baby.
We'll get you there. Which I already got my bet for this week in place. I'm excited for it. We'll get to that later on. But Jack, I know your birds are still going. I mean, just to touch on it quick before we get into the games. If the Eagles do go on to win the Super Bowl, this season by Saquon Barkley could go down as one of the best seasons a running back's ever had.
I don't even want to say anything about that conversation.
I know you want to keep quiet.
I'm knocking on my wooden desk right now as you said that. If you hear any banging, when your Super Bowl ends the way that it did 2 years ago against the Chiefs with Juju Smith-Schuster and James Bradbury on to this day, what I think was a ticky-tack holding call, regardless of what James Bradbury has to say and what anyone else has to say. Maybe I'm just a salty fan. I don't care at this point. When it ends that way, it really stays inside of you. You know what I mean? It stays.
I know you have I know you want to talk about the
like a virus. Like a
I know you want to talk about
disease.
the referees a little later. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
But I figure we'll do our due diligence as an NFL podcast here. With some head coaching vacancies fill up. We got Ben Johnson going to the Bears. We got Aaron Glenn going to the Jets. Mike Vrabel joining New England.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who are some of those other guys again for the kids at home as well as myself? Aaron Glenn was on the
Aaron Glenn was the
Lions,
defensive
right?
coordinator for the Lions.
Okay.
He's now going to the Jets. We had Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from the Lions, now going to the Bears. Mike Vrabel, forget what was it, like the Browns or Redskins? He was like some sort of assistant on.
Vrabel was like a player coach or something.
Yeah,
weird.
I forget what team. He's not going.
Formerly the Titans head coach, obviously, a couple years ago when they had Ryan Tannehill.
Former Patriot, so it makes sense why he's back there.
Yes.
There's one more I'm forgetting.
Well,
there's another one.
Coach Deion Sanders still up in the air.
Who's the last one? There was Glenn. There was Johnson. Who was the last one? There was one more, wasn't there?
I think that might have been all the big names. Obviously, a lot of smoke about Deion Sanders right now coming out of Colorado.
Kevin O'Connell signed an extension.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that.
There was some GM moves as well, which are maybe more boring for some people, but I believe the Jags GM is moved on.
They parted ways, which I work with a Jags fan, and he is ecstatic. I don't know much about the move. I don't know much about the guy, but I know he's very excited for him to be gone.
I don't know much about him, but
I did have a question lined up here for you. We're going to get a little, a fuck one, marry one, kill one. We'll say here.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
And it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys head coaching vacancy. It's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars head coaching vacancy, and it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching vacancy as a fuck one, marry one, kill one.
Fuck, marry, kill Detroit, Jacksonville, and the last one?
Dallas, Jacksonville, and Las Vegas.
Dallas, Jacksonville, and Las Vegas. Well, I'm
I
probably
think I
gonna.
think I have my answer, and I'm
I'm.
just kind of curious to
I'm
see where
gonna.
you go.
If I. This is for if I'm a hypothetical coach, right?
Yeah,
Like, let's
like
say
if you were to take the head coaching job.
if I'm Deion Sanders and I get to pick where I want to go, type deal.
Sure.
I, as much as it pains me to say, an Eagles fan, I mean, Dallas, that's probably your Mary right there. You probably want to be there long term. They guys like CD there, Micah Parsons, you know, somewhat of a shell of themselves last year on defense with some injuries around guys like Trayvon Diggs. I believe that their other cornerback, Deron Bland, was also injured for a good portion of the season last year. But it is a team with a lot of pieces around it already that if you're a head coach, all you got to kind of do is, you know, pray for Ashton Jeanty to fall to you if you're Dallas, and then you should be looking at your chops for to at least be competitive. Whereas
Sure.
now I gotta fuck and kill the Jags or the Raiders. Uh, oh man, I think you can almost flip a coin at that point, brother. I mean, I think I think you gotta be hopeful, more hopeful if you're a Jags fan, and probably have sex with the Jags and kill the Raiders because you have Trevor Lawrence still. Uh, and I don't know. I don't know. They're
Yeah,
they're
I'm
they're,
I'm
they're both
I
close
think
though.
I'm
It's not like
totally opposite here.
really
So
okay.
so I'm killing the Jags. There's just you have Lawrence there, you got Brian Thomas there, but you really got I mean you got really nothing going there.
Yeah, that's a
You really got nothing going there. Nothing excites me there. Oh
okay.
fuck the Cowboys because
Wow.
out of the three teams, you do have you have CD Lamb, you have Michael Parsons, Dak Prescott. You have the big names there. But how long are they going to be there for? And as long as Jerry Jones is in charge there, that team, it just seems like no one wants to actually go there because you don't have Parkins or Parsons
You're
re-signed
gonna
yet.
marry the
You might,
Raiders though?
Dak, you might lose. CD, you re-sign, but you don't really have, much there. I'm going to marry the Raiders
Who's on the
only
Raiders
because hear me out. You know,
other
quick
than
little
Max?
talk, a nice
I'll give
little
you
one night stand. It's nice in the moment, right? You have it. It's nice in the moment. But the thing you want to marry is that long term commitment. The Raiders just brought in Tom Brady. He's going to be making some decisions. They're going to get a new head coach. They're basically they're cleaning up. And I think they early picked this year. I think if they make some smart decisions, draft well, I think they could be a good team in a couple years. So I'm marrying them only for the long term commitment. I'll fuck the Cowboys because they're the good big name team now with the big name players, and then the Jags I'm just going to kill because they don't excite me at all. That's my reasoning there.
wow. Yeah, I disagree with you there, brother. I mean, I almost want to make a little side bet. You think so? Do you think that the Raiders will average more wins in the next 3 years than the Cowboys?
So we're taking a 3-year bet here.
Hypothetical. We're not
So
putting any
more
money down,
which
but
team I think has more wins and
over
after over the next 3 seasons, the Raiders or
combined.
Cowboys?
Yeah, it has to be the Cowboys.
I mean,
Both of their divisions are tough, granted, but the Raiders are playing with a lot less ammo in their gun right now.
I will say I think Cowboys have more wins this next season and probably the next 2 seasons, but say 3 seasons from now. And if
I
it
mean, what do you
happens,
think? I mean,
timestamp it right now. I'm
I
telling
mean,
you,
you're praying for
if they
you're
make if they
at
make
that
some good
point. You
moves, smart moves, draft well. Brady's a smart guy. Brady knows what he's
it's
doing.
tough. Yeah, but I'm not saying Brady's not a smart guy. But I mean, Jacksonville or Dallas, you're it kills me. You're making me like hype up Dallas right now. But I mean, out of all those three teams, like, sure, a
Maybe,
lot of those guys
maybe
getting
that's what I was
old,
just trying
but
to do. Maybe I was just trying to get some clips of you hyping
you're
up
just
Dallas. Maybe that
yeah,
was
you're
my
just trying
point all
to get
along.
sound bites of me, like Dallas is good. They
Yeah,
are good. They are
that's all I
good. They had a
wanted.
bad.
Someone,
They had a
someone, we'll clip that. We'll clip that.
Hey, just because I don't like them doesn't mean I can't acknowledge when they're good. Okay, I'm a
That's fair.
I'm I'm an honest man at the end of the day. Okay, Cody, I try. um,
I respect you for that, Jack. I do.
but that's interesting. That's interesting right there. So what do you? Let me ask you this, just super quick before we move on or whatever it is we're going to move on. What do you think would have to happen for the Raiders that wouldn't also happen potentially for the Jags and Dallas for the Raiders to succeed more so than those two other teams?
Uh, like I said, I think a lot of times it comes from top down, how the organization is ran.
Tom Brady
And you know,
suits up and goes out
if you
there.
bring, look, you're bringing in a great football mind like Tom Brady, which is going to help. And they said that he's going to have a lot of say in, personnel and stuff going forward. Um, so that's one thing. Another thing is I hear today that Pete Carroll might be taking the job in Las Vegas. Just saying, another good football mind. And then if you go out and you can get a young quarterback, look what Pete Carroll did with his last good young rookie quarterback. He goes by the name of Russell Wilson. He's a shell of himself now, but at a Hall of Fame career that you could arguably say, had a bunch of top defenses. We all remember the Legion of Boom. Questionable play call in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, but it's the NFL where it's full of questionable calls.
We'll
So,
get to that.
that's three there. You got a good mind helping out running the team. Get a guy like Pete Carroll, and then go get a young quarterback for Pete Carroll to develop. Pete Carroll could, he'll be able to mold the defense and, build a good defense. I mean, we've seen it before. He's proven to do it both in college and in the NFL level.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the future looks bright in Las Vegas. I know my stepmom would love to hear me say that. So there you go. Love you, Mary. But I don't know. It just seems like they have. I don't know. Part of it's a gut thing, and I like to go with my gut too. But like I said, I don't think
you got to feel the
I mean,
gut.
think about it. Dallas.
Sometimes
the memes are everywhere. They haven't gone to an NFC Championship game since before you and I were both born.
Yeah.
And I think as long as Jerry Jones is there, they're not going to.
I think
the Jaguars are just uninspired.
I think that Dallas fans across the world would agree with you that Tom Brady being your GM, or not quite your GM, but Tom Brady being,
I forget his title, but
behind the helm is better than Jerry Jones behind the helm. I think that everyone across America would agree with you on that. Whether you're
what did we see out of Jerry Jones last offseason? Oh, we're going all in. We're going all in. And what their big signing was Ezekiel Elliott.
They could have had Derrick Henry, bro.
They could have. Derrick Henry from Dallas wanted to be in
Henry
Dallas.
was a front runner for offensive player of the year for a good portion of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
your big signing last offseason was Ezekiel Elliott. And then you fire your head coach this season. You need to go to a head coach. And what are they doing? It looks like they're going to hire internally because no one outside of that organization wants to go there.
Also, didn't technically fire McCarthy. His contract just expired. Okay, so
you're right, but he didn't rehire him.
Yeah, Jerry was just like
he fired him without having to fire him.
Yeah. The Jerry way of firing is just let you fade away. Just fade away like Thanos snapping his fingers. Jerry just waves his hand.
And see you later.
See you later, alligator. Yeah, now I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure, especially how the Raiders decide to handle the quarterback situation potentially over the draft this offseason, if they decide to go with one of those top guys on the board, Cam Ward, Shador, does.
I think the Raiders, and I've been doing a couple of mock drafts I've been doing, I think they trade up. I could see them making a move for 2 with Cleveland. I could even see them possibly going for the first pick with the Titans. They'll have to give up a bunch, but Shador was tweeting out every time the Raiders lost, and the Raiders have interest in Shador. So I don't know. I could see it.
Yeah, it's funny because we mentioned Dion earlier, who obviously coach of Colorado, father of Shador, Neon Dion. He stated that only way that he would be interested in coaching in the NFL is if he was coaching his sons. His sons.
Yeah.
And, you look at coaching vacancies across the league. The Raiders have a top 10 draft pick. They're looking for a coach right now.
The Raiders also need a quarterback and a safety.
Yeah, Shiloh
I
Sanders.
mean,
Yeah.
it lines up.
So, you have to think if something happens within the next, month or two, and Dion goes to the Raiders, I think you could kind of write it. I think you could kind of just,
The writing's on the wall.
I think you just book it that if they didn't trade up already, there's going to be a trade, and that's going to be their QB of at least the near future. Does he have the skills to stick around as long as you think for them to grow as an organization? Who knows? Hopefully, if you're a Raiders fan, you got Tom Brady over your shoulder and two Hall of Famers over your shoulder and Deion Sanders and Tom Brady. Hopefully that helps you out. But we will see, brother. We will
see.
will certainly see.
Always a waiting game.
Indubitably.
All right. Well, I know you don't want to talk about the Eagles or anything.
Well, I love talking about the Eagles, but I'm not going to get my head too big here.
All right. Well,
I'll put my 2 cents in the jar, but I'm not going to.
All right. Not a whole ton of upsets last week, other than the Commanders over Lions.
That was pretty big upset.
The other 3 games, you kind of, went how you'd expect. Well, Ravens
Bills
could have pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
I believe I did have Baltimore winning, but it was one of those games where it easily goes either way.
I didn't even touch that one, bro. And that was a dogfight.
I didn't bet on it, but
just like your
in my prediction bracket thing ESPN has, I I had the Ravens
swung Ravens
forward.
Eagles beat the Rams. A very close game. Came down to the end of Matt Stafford.
Stafford, biggest
not
throw
being able
the
to convert
season, just completely throws it out of bounds.
He had to chuck it up somewhere. But Saquon had a game, dude. Saquon had a freaking game. So
another 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like I said, to kick the show off, if they win the Super Bowl, it's got to be one of the best running back seasons we've seen.
Yeah, it's been glorious. Did you see how he was running towards the end zone on his
and he's smacking
like an 80-yard, it was like a 70-yard run or something, and he smashing his helmet, and in the press conference he's like, I believe that's what the kids these days call crashing out. I was like, yeah, Saquon.
A little bit. Yeah, so a few takeaways, I guess, from this past weekend that I would have is, the Ravens. We've talked about it plenty of times on this podcast, and my fantasy tight end this year, Mark Andrews. You kind of got a feel for him here.
It wasn't
a lot of people are blaming him for the loss. But the thing is, and I'm going to be that guy. Football games aren't one-play games. Yeah, he dropped it. Yeah, they would have, took the lead or tied. It was a 2-point conversion. They would have tied it if he caught it. However, the Ravens were averaging a healthy, I think, 5.5, 6 yards a carry and ran the ball, I think, 22 total times. 2 years in a row, some questionable play calling there by Mr. Harbaugh, which I have another hot take. His seat might be getting hot there over in Baltimore.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know why you abandoned the run. This is 2 years in a row. Last year when playing the Chiefs, only lost by a score, and they were averaging, I think, 8 yards a carry that game, and just totally abandoned the run. Lamar had himself 2 turnovers. So, you can, you could easily look back at that game and want to blame Mark Andrews, but the Ravens put themselves in the position to where that play was so critical when it didn't need to be, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Like the Ravens did a couple more things right. And again, hindsight's 2020. We're playing armchair quarterback here, Thursday after the games. There was plenty of chances outside of that play where the Ravens could have won.
Yeah. Yeah, that I don't want to immediately segment, but it kind of reminds me of this past week with the Chiefs and Texans game. Everyone is saying that, oh, well, just because, a couple flags went the Chiefs' way, like the refs didn't decide the game. And yes, football is a team sport. Football games don't typically come down to one play, two plays. Although I think it's very tough, and I think it is different than the Mark Andrews situation, but something like referees interfering with the game, uh, especially when it's uncalled for, because obviously a blatant error is a blatant error, or a blatant flag rather is a blatant flag, and it should be thrown. But bad calls throw off the entire momentum of the game and give one of the teams a obvious advantage over the other.
Sure.
It's just so frustrating that the team that seemingly gets all of the help is the Kansas City Chiefs and Mr. Patrick Mahomes, who, in my time of watching football, is arguably the worst sport and least tough player, barring position, quarterback, running back, least tough position in the entire league. Because every single time that this guy gets slightly hit, just a little too hard, oh, waving his arms, acting,
Yeah.
where's the flag? Looking at the ref, waving his hands in the air, oh, pointing his finger, wah, wah, wah. Let's take it back to last year, shall we? When was it last year or 2 years ago? I believe it was last year when the Bills beat the Chiefs, and it came down to a flag at the end where Chiefs got a flag called on them. Wow, can't even believe that actually happened in this universe. But there was actually a flag on the Chiefs last year, and the Bills won. And Patrick Mahomes cried like a baby to the point where he couldn't even be the political, quarterbacks have to be politicians, suit and tie. Oh, you know, everything's on me. When we win, it's we, and when we lose, it's me type mentality. And oh, good game, everybody, no matter what. Josh Allen, after the game, looking for him. Josh Allen tries to stick out his hand. Hey, man, good game. Let's see. Patrick Mahomes, man, worst effing call, worst fucking call I've ever seen. I can't even fucking believe this game came out. Blah, 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 blah. After the year before, they just won a Super Bowl off of a James Bradbury half tug of a jersey pull. So now, Cody, I'm not asking referees to not throw flags when quarterbacks get hit, because if a quarterback gets blatantly hit, that you got to throw it. And I'm sure that's how referees are taught. I'm sure that's taught how to officiate. If some guy gets his head nailed off and it looks like it might be roughing, just throw it anyway. Just throw it anyway. We'll look at it. The problem is that this past week, you look at the Commanders game and how those Commanders assaulted Jared Goff. I mean, this guy was getting nailed. I can't pull up specific clips for you right now.
Oh, that pick six he threw. Oh, he got absolutely demolished.
He's getting smashed every other play, even after he gets the ball off even, and nothing, no help. Jalen Hurts on a running play, he slid down in front of Jared Verse, I believe it was a linebacker for the Rams. He slid, and this linebacker collapsed on top of him after he already slid, and Jalen wasn't acting like Patrick Mahomes, but he kind of like looked around like, okay, all right, not going to call anything. All right, whatever, and walked it off. If Patrick Mahomes was in any one of those quarterbacks' shoes, he'd get a dozen flags. And that's the problem. The problem's not, oh, if a quarterback gets nailed, they're throwing flags. throw the flags when it's blatantly obvious. But why is Patrick Mahomes getting calls when you're not even making helmet-to-helmet contact, when you're not leading with the helmet, when you hit him in the shoulder, when he's acting as a runner, when he's literally acting as a runner, and he gets nailed, and it's like, oh, it's a flag. It's like, at some point, this has to stop. We talked about it before the show briefly, and I'll just quickly bring it up. Since 2021, in the playoffs, when the Chiefs play their opponents, this is the stats of penalties when the Chiefs play their opponents since 2021. The penalties that the Chiefs have occurred since 2021 in the playoffs, 36. Their opponents, 66. Converted it into yards, the amount of penalty yards that the Chiefs have against them since 2021 in the playoffs is 319, and their opponents is 541. I just don't know how much more like this has to go on. I'm glad that commentators, even Troy Aikman, is in the Texans game. He's like, "Come on," and like people are actually getting fed up about this. And I sounded like the crazy Eagles fan in the Super Bowl, like, "Oh, we're throwing flags," but now it's at this point, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do, Cody?
No, I mean, I totally agree with you. And just to pile on quick, yeah. So since same year, 2021, the Chiefs have played 11 playoff games. They are 10-1 in that time. There have also been 10 games in that time where they've had less penalties and penalty yardage than their opponents. So it's just very coincidental that their record in the playoffs also matches up with the amount of times that they have had less yards than their opponent. And another thing that looks good for the Chiefs fans, if they get past, if they get past the Bills this weekend, it's been announced that Mike Morton will be head referee for the Super Bowl. And under Mike Morton, the Chiefs are Ron Tolbert, not Mike Morton. He's the umpire. Ron Tolbert is the head referee. Sorry about that. Ron Tolbert will be the head referee for the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs under Ron Tolbert are 18-2
Oh
with the
God.
9 to 48 penalty differential.
9 to 48.
So yeah, if there's
Oh my God.
we hate to say that the refs, play a factor into the games, but a 9 to 48. I mean, are the Chiefs disciplined? Are the Chiefs getting calls? Call it how you want it, but a 9 to 48, that's a very disciplined football team.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And I'm not taking anything away from Coach Andy Reid and having a disciplined football team, because there are also just times where you're playing an undisciplined opponent, and the Chiefs aren't stupid. They don't jump off sides. They don't, you know what I mean? Even though, sometimes guys go and slow it down and say, oh, look at whatever, blah, blah.
Yep.
Yeah. But for the large majority of the games, they're disciplined. They're not jumping at the line. They're not doing stupid shit. That being said, though, you shouldn't hurt Will Anderson for making a textbook tackle on Patrick Mahomes, who decided to, slide at the last second or let the ball go when he was 2 inches away from his face.
Sure.
What are we gonna do here? What are we gonna start doing? And I'm telling you right now, Cody. I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling all the fans who may or may not be with me wherever the Super Bowl is had, and if I am in their presence or not. But if the Chiefs happen to win a chip off of a bad flag, you're going to see a crash out.
Oh, yeah. There'll be a huge one.
You're going to see a crash out. Last year when I watched it, I was rooting for 49ers to beat the Chiefs. Like, I'm sick of them winning, man, at this point. I think most of America's sick of them winning. Regardless of my Eagles wound, I think most of America is just sick of them at this point. And last year, when they won, I remember I was just kind of disappointed. I was just kind of sad. It just put me into a brief depression, and I didn't quite crash out. I just got real depressed at the end of the night and just buried my sorrows with my boys in Miller Lite or whatever I was drinking at the time. This year, oh yeah, the kombucha, yeah, the kombucha lattes, a couple Miller lattes. No, this year's gonna be
Perfect
different.
remedy.
This year's gonna be an absolute crash out in the worst way. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't even get to that point. I would love to see the Bills beat them this week. That would be phenomenal. Although my sentiment that I'm also not opposed to trying to get my ups with another Birds Chiefs Super Bowl either. So we'll see what happens.
I know you want your payback.
I want to beat them so bad.
We'll get into the preview this week, but there's just one more topic I want to touch on from these past weekend's games, and it is the Detroit-Washington game. And I said it last week. Dan Campbell could coach himself into a loss just as much as he can a win. And what happened? You're down 10. You're in the fourth quarter, and you're having your receiver throw a ball, Jameson Williams, and he throws an interception. That's the kind of that's what I mean when he can coach himself into a loss just as much a win. Like, I know your quarterback, I don't even know if he exited the game at this point, but still, why are you going to have your receiver down 10 in the fourth quarter be throwing the ball? Like, I know you're trying to be fancy, trying to throw a trick play,
it was
catch
a weird
the defense off guard.
It was a weird play call and a bad throw.
It's just you're not making those, not in the playoffs at least. You got to play smart football, especially down 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even during the Packers game this season when you guys most recently played the Packers. That decision to go for it was just kind of curious to me.
It's one of those things, like, it's nice if it pays off and you're like, oh, Dan Campbell, look at him, he's a genius. But it's the total opposite on the flip side. When it doesn't pay off, like we saw, a lot of people are like, that's a stupid call, myself included. Like, it's a stupid call.
I think that casual fans, though, and I hate to use the word casual because it sounds derogatory or like I'm talking down on people who don't follow football as closely as maybe me or you do, but I think that casual fans might look at a crazy decision like that, and when they make it, it's like, wow, he's so smart, he's whatever. At the end of the day, I don't even care that they made it. I didn't care that they converted because it was still a bad call. Like, just kick the field goal. What?
Yeah.
What you're almost risking more than you're gaining.
Sure.
Almost. Almost.
Like I said, it did pay off. But say they turned it over, Green Bay goes down, kicks a field goal. Guess where everyone's pointing their fingers. Yeah, it's going to be right at Dan Campbell and his play call. But guess what? They converted, they won, and guess what the storyline is? Oh, what a gutsy play call by Dan Campbell. Yeah,
I think that he has kind of, I don't want to say tarnished his resume because he hasn't, and he's obviously done a lot for the Detroit Lions over the past couple of years, but he's definitely called into question his play calling abilities as a coach.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to see how how Detroit is going forward now that Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are both gone, and I guess we'll see what happens.
You're going to be seeing fourth down offense on fourth down every week now.
Yeah, I mean, what does Detroit even have a kicker on the roster for?
Yeah.
All right.
Get the water for the boys.
We'll move on to this coming week's games, and I know you don't want to talk about it.
Well,
we'll talk about it, but we don't have to.
For the boys,
try not to jinx it for you. They are the first game this Sunday. Commanders at Eagles. I'll let you talk on it. You're the Birds fan. What do we have any bold predictions? How we think the game's going to go? What do we want to see? What do we don't want to see? Obviously, is them lose. But are we worried at all? Commanders seem like they're getting hot at the right time here.
Yeah, they seem like they're getting hot at the right time here. I think the interesting thing to point out for this game here is right now, at least, and lines are weird and whatever right now, but um, Saquon Barkley's line for rushing yards this game,
Isn't it like 128 or something? It's like absurd.
it was around 160 that I heard on ESPN this morning.
That's insane.
160.
That is insane.
Because he does have a habit of running up and down on the Commanders whenever we play them, which is good. Obviously, like you said, he's been having a hell of a season. But I don't know. I don't want to sit here and talk out of my ass.
I mean, if you want to jinx it, I totally get it. I totally understand.
Spread is 6.5. Eagles are at home. I think it'll be a good game. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let you analyze that one.
Sure.
I'll go in on the Bills and Chiefs a little bit more. How about that? I'll let you take this
let
one over.
me real quick. Let me look at this. I didn't pull like the spread or anything up. So let me get that pulled up here quick. I know how I think because I did put a bet in on this game. I do think the Eagles win. However, I think it's going to be another close one. Like I don't like I said, Commanders are just hot right now. They're getting hot at the right time. Honestly, I know you don't want to see it, but it would be an exciting story to see them win and go to the Super Bowl. I know you're not
rookie quarterback.
You don't
is insane.
Want that, but from an NFL standpoint, it's a nice story. The best so spread 6 right now. That one's iffy for me. I don't know how I lean there.
6.5.
Over under 47.5. You probably go right around there. I mean, Commanders have been lighting up the scoreboard. Eagles, they score what they need. They're going to run the ball. Their defense is playing, lights out since halfway through the year.
We did lose. The Eagles did lose to the Commanders in our last matchup. However, if you recall, that game came down to one possession, and you know who was the quarterback for that game? Kenny Pickett.
I was gonna say, was it Kenny Pickett and then like Tanner McKee or something?
Tanner McKee did not grace the field that day, but it
was Pickett.
If there's anything that makes me feel somewhat, relaxed is not the right word, but somewhat confident or, a little bit less on edge about this game. Obviously, the 6.5 spread doesn't hurt looking at that on Vegas books, but the fact that we almost beat him with none other than Kenny Pickett. So that's my 2 cents into the jar.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, I have Eagles winning. Although, like I said, it would be a cool story to see Washington. I do
if a rookie quarterback went to the Super Bowl.
Sure. I don't know if that's ever happened. I don't know if there's ever been a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl. Starting rookie.
I know that one has never won a Super Bowl,
but there has been one there.
I am double checking the stats right now. No rookie quarterback has ever even started a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if anyone has ever gone there. How I imagine this game playing out, though, I think Eagles, probably go up early-ish, I'd say. We're going to see a lot of Saquon Barkley in this game, like you said. So I imagine Washington to have to throw the ball a lot to play catch-up. The running game the past few weeks hasn't been great. So my first bet here this week, and we can maybe throw it in the screen or we'll throw it on the Instagram or something. I have Jaden Daniels over on his yards, 236.5 or something it is. I forget the exact number.
It was a little over 230. It was a
It
good
was like
line.
230 some. I'm going to take that over. That's the first one I have. I also parlayed that with the Eagles money line, and then Barkley anytime touchdown. So that's my 3 for this game. If I were to be a betting man on the spread and total, I probably take the Commander spread at +6. I don't see Philly winning by more than 6, but I could be wrong. I think this comes down to, possibly a field goal game. 47.5 over under. I mean, that's tough.
That's
I'm
tough.
probably
That's
right. I'm
touchy.
probably like right there.
I
You
almost
know what I
want
mean?
I almost want the under as just a cheeky. Everyone's going to be thinking that an over hits with those two offenses. Although I think that's the almost like upset for sports books is the under hits instead of the over. That's
Yeah.
my prediction.
I mean, it's tough. Like if I were to predict the score, my score prediction is probably like right there.
Yeah.
So if I were a betting man, that's probably one I avoid. But gun to my head, I don't know. I kind of want to go over. It's gonna be a cold day in Philly though, so we might see a lot of running. I don't know. I'm contradicting myself a lot right now, and that's why Vegas wins a lot of money off of me.
Mhm.
We could pivot. We'll stop talking about your Eagles so we don't jinx them on you. We'll pivot. We got Bills at Chiefs.
We got Bills.
I have a hot take in this one. Maybe not necessarily a hot take, but
well, you think the
I'll
Bills
let
are going to
you.
squeeze one out?
So I do think the Bills squeeze one out. I think this is so. Here's why. For years now, it's always been the like the norm, the cut this out because I can't think of the word. It's been the whatchamacallit, narrative. So for years now, it's been the narrative, that we just had a little rant on it about 20 minutes ago that the Chiefs get the calls and Mahomes gets the calls.
Because they do.
For years now, that's what it's been. Isn't it strange that now, all of a sudden, going into this game, you turn on ESPN, you turn on whatever, and a lot of these people, oh my God, the Chiefs are getting these calls. You can't make that call. Now we have Aikman. Oh, come on, like in the booth. We haven't been seeing that often. Why all of a sudden are we getting it? Do you know who, since 2018, the only quarterback to have more roughing the passers called in their favor? It's Josh Allen. Yes. So Josh Allen has more roughing the passer calls than Patrick Mahomes.
He does have a pretty elite flop highlight reel.
And I know we just touched on it with Tolbert being the Super Bowl referee and the Chiefs and their record with him. However, I forget the gentleman's name who will be refereeing this game. But the Chiefs with this guy are 6-5. The Bills with this guy reffing are 8-2. A little something to keep, keep in mind here. Also with this ref, again, forgetting the name, so we'll have to look it up. The home team is penalized more often than the away team.
Wow.
So hear me out. This is how it's going to come.
Wow.
It'll be a close game, and there's going to be a controversial call, but not in the Chiefs' favor. It's going to be in the Bills' favor, and the Bills punch their ticket to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
I almost hope to see it.
I'm hoping to see it too, and I hope it comes true. And I hope we're sitting here next week, and I look like a genius. But I mean, yeah, right now Bills plus 105. With all that being said, I hope I convince some people. I don't know, man. I just feel good about it.
Let me ask you this.
I feel like the NFL's, and I texted before, I think NFL is running recon. I think the only way to get rid of this Chiefs narrative that they get all the penalties is for the Bills to win this week on some kind of controversial call. We say it all the time. The NFL is not in the sports industry. They're in the entertainment business, and this is going to be the entertainment we want. They want to get rid of that narrative. They want to clean up their, the business. They clean it up. They clean up the act. The Bills are going to win on a controversial call. You heard it here first. Yeah.
Man, it's big
And if anyone cares what other bet I have on this, I parlayed the Bills money line with Hollywood Brown over receiving yards. That one's not as exciting to talk about as the last bet for the Bills winning, but
right.
For anyone that does care.
Oh, man, I'm so nervous. I'm so damn nervous for obviously my Eagles, along with just the Bills and the Chiefs. I don't know who I'd rather meet in the Super Bowl.
I was actually just about to ask you that. Like a hypothetical Eagles win Sunday at 3:00. You're watching the game 6:30. Are you pulling either way? Like, would you rather play the
I don't
Chiefs?
know. I don't know, because if the Bills win, I think it's a fun matchup. I think that America kind of wouldn't actually mind watching that. Like, I think the Eagles going, Saquon Barkley's massive historic year, Josh Allen, massive historic year, leading rusher of touchdowns for the Bills now since this season. I think that's a fun show.
I think the Chiefs win, though, the Eagles would match up better against the Bills. The Bills have a weaker run defense.
That's also what I was going to say. But then if the Chiefs win, then you get the rematch from 2 years ago where things. I mean, Jalen Hurts was one tic-tac flag throw away from
winning the Super Bowl.
Not only winning the Super Bowl, but without Saquon Barkley, with his own legs and arm, beating the best quarterback in the NFL, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. He was one flag away.
So let me ask you this, and I saw a video on this before. I forget the Instagram page it was on. I doubt they're going to see this, but if you do see it, I apologize. Of the Jim Kelly curse. And what the Jim Kelly curse is.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, yeah.
It's quarterbacks that have gone to the Super Bowl their first time, lost, and have never gone back. Oh, I mean, there's a list of players, and Jalen Hurts is currently on it. You know, you have Hurts, Burrow, Purdy, some old guys like Jake Delhomme. You have Jared Goff. You have Rex Grossman, Cam Newton. You have all these guys go to a Super Bowl, lose, and then they never go back. It's interesting to think about. I mean, there's only one exception that I can think of. It's Big Ben. Well, no, because he won his first one, so never mind. Big Ben won his first one, so he's not an exception to that.
Yeah,
it was. I never even knew that was a thing until about an hour and a half ago.
God, I'm getting fired up already, though. I just need that. I need Sunday to just get here already. I'm tweaking right now. And, I'm about to swerve and hit the corner right now. How much I'm tweaking.
I got no skin in the game, so I'm not as excited as you are, but I'm excited that you're excited, man.
Hey, I don't know where we're watching the Super Bowl. What's going on? I know there's been whispers. I won't disclose the information of our secret informant. Mr. Charlie P. Shout out.
Charlie P.
But we may be together when the Super Bowl happens, and I warned you. I warned you once, and I'll warn you again. I mean, you thought that I was suited up and excited for Week 1 when it was the Brazil game, and I was. This is going to be a whole different beast. I'm just telling you. I'm warning you that you're either going to see two sides of Jack. Okay. Well, you'll definitely see hype Jack. Jack will be hype. You know, I need to stop talking about it. I'm going to stop talking about it right now because first we got to focus on the Commanders. I'm getting way ahead of
That's true, man. Don't sleep on the Commanders.
I'm not sleeping on them. I'm sleeping on my
mattress. I said last week too. I said if we were sitting here this week and the Commanders win, I wouldn't be surprised. And here we are.
I know. I'm scared.
But either way, Jack, win or lose, the Eagles, if they make it to the Super Bowl, if they don't, Super Bowl Sunday, we'll drink some Miller lattes together. They'll taste better if the Eagles are there and the Eagles win. But if not,
hey, if the Eagles are out of the race, I'm rooting against whoever is not this. Whoever's not the
Eagles make it. If they don't make it, if they win, they lose. You know what Super Bowl Sunday will mark? Our first complete season together is Sweet Life.
God bless, dude.
A whole season.
Can you believe it?
And then we'll gear up for the off season and figure out what the hell to talk about to buy some time there.
Oh, well, there's going to be more stuff than we
We'll
we
figure it
think.
out. We'll do some fun shit.
Firings, hirings, the draft, rookie prospects and trades and a bunch of fun stuff to keep the people in the know of, oh, I didn't know that, fucking Mike McCarthy's on the Jets now or whatever the hell. It's like, hey, Sweet Life, keep you in the know. Mike McCarthy's not on the Jets now, by the way, but just hypothetically.
If he were to go.
If he were to go, you'll hear it here first, folks, okay? You don't got to worry about Rappaport or Shefty, okay? You got Cody McGoats and Jacko here on the hot mic right now.
Mm-hmm. We break news on average 2.7 minutes quicker than anyone else. Don't go looking that up. Just trust me. Just trust me. I did the research myself.
Okay.
So you know it's true.
You heard it here, people. But yeah.
Anything else you want to go over, Jack? Or we can cut this part out. More.
We didn't mention it earlier, but rest in peace to Notre Dame season. Ohio State got the win. I'm sure that shout out to our buddy Sean. Penn State fans across the county were probably upset to see Ohio State win, along with all the Notre Dame fans.
Condolences with fan of the year Jake the Snake too.
Jake the Snake,
big Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, our buddy Dave is also a big Notre Dame fan, so it was tough. And also, I'm just gonna say this quick too: the college football committee, whoever you are, wherever you are, let's get the championship game moved. Why are we watching this on a Monday? Why are we watching the college football?
Yeah, do you see there was like a 12% ratings dip on it? Like, dude, just no one watched it. Like the entire college football playoffs.
I forgot that it was on. I literally forgot that it was on.
I mean, we were talking last week and we're like, when the hell is this game on? Like,
yeah, I forgot that it was on. I was eating dinner and all of a sudden I walk in the living room and I started hearing announcers and stuff. I'm like, what is it? What is it? Like a rerun? it's like no, this is a college football national championship. Oh yeah, on a Monday. Like when I'm like, out of it, ready to go to bed. You know what I mean? People got
like it makes no sense to me because all season long, your biggest game of the week is on what? Big noon Saturday. But then the most important game of the entire season we put on a Monday night.
Tell him, Cody.
I'm just saying, it makes no sense to me.
No, it kind of pissed me off.
Shouldn't the biggest game of the entire season also be on a big noon Saturday? If that's like
or at least
prime time.
Or at least just a day of the weekend when people don't have to clock in the next morning.
Yeah. Like I'm not staying up to watch two college teams I don't care about.
Yeah, it's just stupid. And I think with a lot of the moves that they've been making with the 12-team playoff and everything, I think they are getting more experimental. And it's kind of funny if you think about how like not young college football is, but like there are no like regulations or rules at all. Like look at NIL alone. Like it's literally just in the Wild West. Like people just leave when they want. The Penn State backup quarterback leaves before while they're in the playoffs. Like it doesn't make any sense. There's no regulations on the amount of money you're allowed to give these guys, and it's just like kind of crazy. And then all that, and then you have the national championship being played on a Monday evening. It's like we got to figure it out. What are we doing? I get you got to compete with NFL, but like pick any other date or time.
I guess it makes sense because they're like, because if you played it on this past week on a Saturday, you are, there was NFL games on Saturday too, so I get that. But I mean, I guess there really is no void.
Have it early. Have it early in the day. The NFL games don't come on until late afternoon.
I know.
Have
I
it be
bet
like you
there's some
said.
sort of
It's
there's
been
got to be
noon.
like some sort of licensing thing behind the scenes with like the TV channels and something. It's probably some bullshit like that.
I don't know, but whatever it is, they got to figure out. They got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. If they're playing with a bunch of bullshit, then they
Yeah,
got
because I
to.
mean the NFL games didn't start till what 4:30 or 3:30.
That's what I'm saying. And
Do the big noon Saturday.
if the whole mantra is big noon,
Do the big
then
noon Saturday.
why
That
don't you
game's
have
over by 3. You'll
why
roll
don't
right into the next NFL game.
plus, you know how, dude, college students, not even college students, men like to wake up on a Saturday morning and crack open a cold one and watch college football. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just like
right. Like
that's just
imagine
a
being like a
whole.
student, like an OSU student, like an Ohio State student. Like I'd want to go,
It feeds into it feeds into the
go
whole
watch
thing.
the game on a Saturday afternoon, then have to go on a Monday night.
And the crowds that you would draw in. Like
That's what I mean.
imagine the crowd. Obviously, the crowd was massive in not
Oh, sure.
Miami, Atlanta was played in, right?
I believe
Um,
so.
you're gonna fill up the stadium some, but like in
Mhm.
terms of like tailgates and like
Yeah.
really sold
Students
out,
got
what are
class
you
on
going
Tuesday
for?
the next day. They don't
Students
got class on Sunday the next day or that Saturday.
students got class and people got jobs. Like
Exactly.
even if you're out of
Mouths to feed.
college, yeah, we got mouths to feed, dude. But like,
Mouths to feed.
but if it's on a Saturday, oh, I don't got say less. I'll go. I'll go darty. You know what I mean? I'll
Exactly.
hang out in a parking lot with a bunch of boys in Notre Dame jerseys. Like let's rip it. You know what I mean? But no, let's settle for Monday night. Come on, let's figure this out for next season, guys. Come on.
I just got an email from official NCAA email, and it's telling us to shut the fuck up.
Oh, well,
Oops. We've said too much. No, I'm
I'm just
kidding.
saying. I'm just saying, man. I'll talk to some people. We got good ideas. We
Yeah.
could hop on a payroll.
Yeah, I mean, we met with Goodell, this season.
We
So
meet with
maybe we could
Goodell. Yeah, meet with Goodell. We can meet with
put a
whatever
word
the
in.
college committee is. I'll
Like,
chill.
look, we are a YouTube channel. We break news at 2.7 minutes faster than anyone else in the market. Listen to us. Like,
Don't listen to that stat, but yeah, listen to us.
no, listen to it. Just don't look it up or research it.
Just don't acknowledge it.
Fact check me or, you know.
Oh, brother. But yeah, rest in peace, Notre Dame. Ohio State just kind of blows. And go Birds, basically. Cody, do we have anything else to touch up on here? I mean, it feels like we had a slightly quicker episode than usual, kind of right about the hour mark, but
About the hour mark. No,
we
only thing to really touch one more time is going on our Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code GETRIGHT. Get a 50% deposit match on your first $1,000 because who doesn't love free money? I love free money. It's free money.
free money.
Also, you all saw Jax earlier in the show. Go over to Trophy Smack. Use code GETRIGHT there as well. Because what's better than winning your fantasy championship if you can't showboat it? Jack,
Absolutely,
I'm sure it
man.
feels nice to have that trophy sitting on your,
I love it. I forgot. I wanted to post it on the on the gram. I forgot, so I might have to put a post up tomorrow or something. Kind of just throw it on
do it,
up
man.
there.
Do it, man. Yeah. I mean, other than that, we'll be here Saturday. We'll do a little live stream Saturday. I'll go over the bet I put in, talk about some other bets I like, talk about some, I don't know, whatever the hell we want to talk about, whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, come in, ask questions too, man.
Yeah, come in, ask some questions, drop some comments. I mean, whatever you guys want, man. We are at your leisure Saturday. So use us like rag dolls or something else, but we're going to keep it kid friendly.
Yeah, well, a doll.
A
baby
doll.
doll. We'll be your baby
doll.
dolls.
All right. With that being said, everybody, sorry for missing Saturday, but we're here. We'll be here this Saturday. We love y'all. Peace out.
Peace.
GETRIGHT fantasy is the play. Marking nothing but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided